Hello dear viewers, and welcome back to another episode of A Walk to Work with Whittaker. And I am actually walking to work this time. I've already crossed my first road for the day, so always road safety. Of course, today I am talking about... Sorry, I told you there was a lot of noise around my place. Today I am talking about Spyfall Part 2. And naturally, a spoiler warning is now in effect. So, once again, if you're watching this before you're watching Spyfall Part 2, stop me now. You've got until this truck finally passes me. There it goes. Okay, so I've just watched Spyfall Part 2, and my goodness, what an excellent conclusion. I didn't know where they were going to go from last week, and I know I made two predictions about where the Doctor was and how the companions could possibly get out of that situation, and I was wrong on both counts, and I'm really glad of that. Just a little street, but I did check. Jodie Whittaker continues to really impress me, and I love the element of her having to use just the resources at her disposal. It's something that really good spy films do, and it's something that good Doctor Who does. The companions also had to rely on their wits and just what they had to hand. I did think it was a bit weird when the companions were on the run that they didn't find some less conspicuous clothing. But you know what? James Bond doesn't always do that either. In terms of the whole spy thing, I thought they might have actually abandoned it this week. But it did still feel like a spy movie. And that was something I really enjoyed, because especially if you look at the more recent Daniel Craig James Bond films, there is very often a moment in them where he's stripped of power or stripped of resources and has to go to ground. And that's what we saw here. For Ryan, Graham and Yaz, you know what, Yaz got a little less to do this week than last week, but she still wasn't sidelined, and I really appreciated that. Ryan and Graham continue to have a great chemistry, and I love that the companions acknowledged that part of this situation is due to the fact that the Doctor doesn't tell them anything. And yet, some people were predicting that might turn them against her. And I like that it didn't, but they still acknowledge what they don't know. And they take it a task to that at the end of the episode, but don't push too hard, because these people are still friends. We're not manufacturing drama just for the sake of, having the characters cry or anything like that. People are acting in a realistic manner, I feel, but not overreacting. You know what I mean? Sacha Dhawan as the Master, we can say that now. I like that his performance has levels. Obviously, with the cliffhanger last week, we had some amazing cliffhanger acting from him. I really loved that. But if he hadn't been at that level all the time, it would have not been so effective. Instead, I get this impression that he is just always on the edge of going completely berserk. And I really like that. There's just this sort of simmering control about him, especially the scene on the Eiffel Tower, for my money. The historical settings, absolutely love them. So meeting Ada Lovelace and meeting Noor Khan. When people found out Noor Khan was going to be in the series, they thought that Chibnall was going to do a wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey thing where she's related to Yaz. And also, Noor Khan was captured and executed by the Nazis, and they thought we might see that story, and how could Doctor Who do that sensitively? And I like that we have avoided that. We just have a sort of snapshot of Ada and Noor's lives as part of this bigger plot. So we get a Doctor Who story that is a modern-day sci-fi historical celebrity story, all rolled into one. It's something James Bond couldn't do, because James Bond doesn't do time travel, so it gives it that Doctor Who spin. I feel this week played with the spy tropes a bit more, because Ryan and Graham have their gadgets, but don't really know how to use them. I love the scene where Ryan, Graham and Yaz capture the car from Barton's men, but I also like that they don't think ahead. They're not spies. They're doing the best they can, but there are things they forget to do. I'm not quite sure what the point of Barton's mother was in there. Obviously, it's to show that he is ruthless, he will literally sell his own mother to these aliens. But presumably she's been turned into one of these computer brains. But she doesn't really do anything after that. There's no indication as to what these computer brain people might look like. That being said, I love the idea that this is less of an invasion. I thought that the light monsters, the Kasavians, I think they call them? Not the Kasabians, the Kasavians? Made of cassava, yeah, that's right. I thought the Kasavians, I need to double check the pronunciation, might want to take over people's bodies. But it doesn't seem to be the case. People become these computer brain kind of things, and then I guess that leaves Earth free for the Kasavians to exist as light on our planet. Or at least to take out humanity as a threat. Maybe they've got a larger plan, and we'll return to that later on. Who knows? Okay, coming up to another road, so excuse me for a moment. Okay, all good. And then we get the reveal. Gallifrey has been destroyed again. And look, I don't know if it was Sacha Dhawan's performance or just my impression. Just going to pass some people here. Or just my impression of Sacha Dhawan's performance, but as soon as he said someone destroyed Gallifrey, I knew it was him. I knew it had to be him. And the reveal that he did it because he discovered something that disgusted him so much, that has me intrigued. And it's the Timeless Child. We still don't know what the Timeless Child is. We know it's connected with Gallifrey, that's about it. But I said all the way through last season, the Timeless Child will come up. Even if it didn't come up last series, the Timeless Child will come up again. Chris Chibnall has said several times he has a multi-year plan for Doctor Who. And I believe that when he came aboard, Doctor Who until 2023 was sold to China, which is an indication of how long I think Chris Chibnall intends on sticking around at least. Am I suitably intrigued? Yes. Do I love the fact that at the end, the Doctor gives her Castorba a speech? But what I so love about it, and I think the companions pick up on it as well, that doesn't really tell them anything. They don't know what Gallifrey is. They don't know what a Time Lord is. Yes, she's been honest with them. But how much information does that really give them? Not a lot. Not a lot. And I think this uneasy mistrust will play a role further down the season. I certainly hope so. And I don't think we've seen the last of Sacha Dhawan. I really hope we haven't. You know, because of course he's been put in an impossible situation, but the Master's got out of impossible situations before. I just hope that when he gets out of this, I don't think it'll be an if, I think it will be a when. It's not just a matter of so you escape from the realm of the Kasavians. Kasavians? Kavarians? I don't know. Look, overall, I'm very satisfied. There are a few points in the plot which I think are a bit glossed over, such as, you know, the involvement of the mother, why the companions don't change their clothes. It's funny, really, because I found that sort of companion side of things, where they have to go to ground because they are fugitives. Doctor Who's done that before, with the Master, in The Sound of Drums, with the Doctor, Martha and Jack, and again in Torchwood Children of Earth. And it's kind of a shame that we didn't see, say, Yaz use some of her police skills. Just going to stand back a bit, I am near a busy road. It's kind of a shame we didn't see Yaz using some of her police skills to kind of procure stuff for them, but maybe Doctor Who doesn't want to show a police character showing you how to shoplift. That's probably it. Look, overall, very, very satisfied with that episode. Hard to complain about it. Look, I'm loath to give ratings at the moment, but my instinct is to give it a 9 out of 10. Love the historical element, love the time-hopping element. We see the Master's TARDIS. Didn't think much of the console, but, you know, obviously the chameleon circuit's activated inside, because most of it still looks like a hut. Yeah, just a really satisfying opener. And just such an improvement on last year. I know I keep saying I already enjoyed last year, but wow. If this year can keep up that standard of writing, And I think now we don't have any Chris Chibnall scripts. I know that's a concern for some of you out there, that you feel Chris Chibnall's one of the weaker writers. And you know what? Last year, I think the stronger writers were people like Pete McTighe and Mallory Blackman and, who wrote It Takes You Away? Ed Heim. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Now we have all of our guest writers. We have Ed Heim back. We have Pete McTighe back, and we have some new writers as well. I don't know who's writing next week. And spoiler alert again, I believe next week is called Orphan 55, the episode. As I say, I don't know who writes that. If it's Ed Heim, oh my god, I will be over the moon. If it's Pete McTighe, I'll be pretty bloody happy as well. But look, I am approaching work now, so I'm going to sign off. Remember, if you have enjoyed this video, please do like, share, and subscribe. Like I mentioned for the last episode, I would love to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of this series so I can actually live stream these videos. If you can help me do that, even if you drop me a like, that'll push me up the sort of YouTube recommendation lists. Okay, I'm going to sign off now, but as always, thank you so much for watching.